Hello, we're here with Mark Largent.
Hi there.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing really great. How about you?
Doing well. How's the show going for you?
The show's going good. This is one of the shows that's fun because you come out and meet other webcomics people. Not an enormous crowd, but it's a great place to see people who are doing things that you like to do as well.
It's a chance for exchanging ideas as well as information for contact.
Exactly, yeah.
And I've noticed that the vendors here, the artists, the writers, the sellers, anybody is very open to one another.
Yes.
And that helps.
Yeah, it's very. We're all in the same sinking boat.
Yes. But what I found at your station, your table, was items that aren't going to be sinking.
Well,
you've got some great stuff there, and I really appreciate you coming over and talking with us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah. Shall we plug right away? Or
Well, let's do some plugs. Let's talk about the Wannabe Pirates. I want to handle that last.
Okay. Hold it up there. At the,
Yeah.
The Wannabe Pirates is a webcomic I've been doing since 2008, and it's about a guy named Errol Flem who is grown up reading pirate stories, but not too bright, and he hasn't really grasped what pirates really are about. And the setup is that in the Caribbean there's a parrot review board made up of 3 parrots who decide who gets to have a parrot and thus officially be a pirate. So Errol's many attempts fail to become a real pirate, thus keeping him a wannabe pirate.
Okay.
And so he hasn't quite grasped the idea that pirates, loot or plunder or anything like that. He thinks they just go around looking for treasure and singing.
And saying "R" a lot.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It for some reason we just went with the idea that Errol Flem would just have a normal modern day American accent. That there wasn't really he doesn't put on many pirate things. We have other characters who do. And, of course, he's insanely jealous of the real pirates who have parrots. And one of the running gags is he thinks that he has this great affiliation with animals, but every animal he meets tries to kill him.
I love it.
Thank you.
And you began that when again?
We began that in 2008. It's on hiatus right now, but I'm hoping to get back to it. It's a lot of fun, and for the majority of the run, I've been doing it in 3D as 3D characters that I model and pose and set up, but just do frames.
Okay.
And then the fun part is that I can take those things, build a comic strip, but then I can also re-render them and make into a comic book form. So they can be both a strip and a comic book.
Okay.
And in some ways, I think it's more fun to read it as a comic because the art gets bigger and the dialogue gets smaller. Because in print, you can read smaller text, and on screen, you have to kind of keep it big. And so it's a lot of fun. It's in all ages. I think it's definitely okay for kids, but then there's stuff like there's one of the Parrot Review Board meetings is handled as a parody of the old Dead Parrot sketch from Monty Python, where he's trying to get a pirate to sponsor him, and she's been frozen by aliens, and he tries to work her like a puppet. And they're going, "We know a dead pirate will see her." He goes, "No, she's just stunned." So there's stuff I think that'll appeal to all ages, but it's a fun strip, and so nothing heavy in the Wannabe Pirates.
Now, who is handling the publishing?
I'm publishing it on my own, just print on demand right now, which is a wonder because my friend and I had actually self-publishing comics in the 90s, which was an experience of first losing our shirt and then almost breaking even.
We're on our way.
Yes. This we can not make any money without losing any money. So
Is it available on the website also?
yes, if you go to the wannabepirates.com, you can find the store and purchase. I've got the first CG story is a 208-page graphic novel, as well as broken apart into a couple issues, and more to come.
Now, second here,
This
one looks a little more serious.
This is Greyhawk and the Starbucklers of the Caribbean, which I mentioned self-publishing. We actually self-published this in '97, and one of the things that we thought would be fun once we had the Wannabe Pirates up and running would be to do a crossover with that, and to give us a sort of break while we could get things going, we put Greyhawk up online, and then we did the crossover, and at that point we thought we always wanted to do more, so there's a second Greyhawk story we've had running for a couple of years now that's nearing completion. So you can read Greyhawk and the Starbucklers of the Caribbean. It is set in 1689, but the main character is an alien who hides on Earth, and he's a pirate on Earth as well as a pirate in space. So the fun is that you can have space pirate stuff with spaceships and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time you also have aliens on sailing ships in the classic tradition of pirates.
That's great.
Thank you.
Now, I'm sorry to say I had not heard of this one before.
You are not alone in that.
Well, you will find me online for this also.
Oh, cool. That's starbucklers.com.
Starbucklers.com. Now,
Third is has been what has kept me from getting sleep for most of this year. This is it's an animated puppet parody called Star Trek Amutt Time. Star Trek Amutt Time. It's a parody of the classic Trek episode Amutt Time, and the gag is that Mr. Spot is half volcanine, so he's a mutt. And this is something I've wanted to do for a very long time, and I actually started working with the 3D stuff with the intention of doing this as an animated parody. And this year, at the beginning of the year, I made my New Year's resolution that I was going to go ahead and do it. I was pretty sure I could do it. I didn't know for sure, but I thought I could do it. So I said, I want to get this done in time for the Dallas Comic-Con in May. And by a lot of work and good grace, I was able to get it done in time. And actually, thanks to a Kickstarter campaign, get the DVDs made. So it's been a really fun experience, but I've been exhausted since.
May. So. Now, I had seen you running a DVD at your table.
Yes.
And even without the sound, we could see the humor being tossed in there.
Oh, thank you.
So it's a fun video to watch.
Thank you. Hopefully the jokes, the verbal jokes are funny too. It was one of those things that I wanted to do animated from when I first thought of it, because part of what I was thinking is I wanted to do something with the fight sequence. For those who aren't familiar with Star Trek, this episode is when Kirk and Spock fight to the death on Vulcan. So I always envisioned that being a kind of Warner Brothers cartoon. And I got to do the one gag that I wanted to do more than anything, which is a sequence where you see the captain is over to the side and he's talking on a communicator, and Spock is kind of looking around trying to find out, and then you hear the transporter sound effect, and when he looks up, an anvil transports over his head and falls, which is mostly the entire reason I spent all that time doing it. Just I want to do that one joke.
It sounds well worth it.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
16 years of my life, all for that one gag that lasts a couple of seconds. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and the feedback that I've gotten from the people who've seen it has been great. I think the biggest thrill for me is I'm a huge Star Trek fan, especially the original series. Growing up when I did, that was about all there was. And so getting a chance to play with building the Enterprise bridge set, the sick bay, and having these, it's like having toys that you can play with, and then to get to have as my friend. I mean, the level of detail that I put into it as a Star Trek fan, I think other Star Trek fans would appreciate. Other people will never notice that it's there, but it was fun to me to be able to do that, to have that much attention to detail. When you see Mr. Spock's quarters, the little number and letter identification is the real letter and number identification for that quarters.
So you did some detail.
Yeah, there was a lot of research that I did, and a lot of that I had already done previously, just being a nerd.
So when are you going to do Trouble with Tribbles?
You know what? I had an idea for the Trouble with Tribbles, but I'm not sure when that. I wanted to. My idea is to take this and make a web series out of it. That would be called The Ponk Show, and I'm working on that right now. It's split apart, and it would be like an old horror host showing the monster movie type thing.
Okay.
And it's an alien who's receiving our broadcast signals, but they're so garbled because of the distance of each signal or whatever. He has a big computer, the Pair OD9000, that basically fills in the gaps, which explains why they aren't like what they should be. And so the idea is that he would then come and introduce those, and he's abducted an Earth nerd named Barry to explain the Star Trek phenomenon and that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to do other things, and with that premise, it allows me to do mashup type things. And so one of the ideas that I'd had for Trouble with Tribbles was to actually do a mashup of that episode with Doctor Who. And instead of having Tribbles, you would have multiple copies of all the Doctors running around. So that when Kirk opened the thing, a bunch of Doctors would fall on him. And since there's one Doctor that they never show how he changed into the next one, McCoy would kill him to show how they regenerate into another Doctor.
You thought that was good.
Yeah, there's a thing where in the actual episode where McCoy shows how they reproduce, So I've thought about doing that. It's the time that you have to do it, and I'm looking at what I do. Like I said, right now I'm still recuperating from doing the first one, but it has at least emboldened me the fact that I can do it, and it's astonishing that one person with one computer can make their own TV show nowadays.
You can edit, you can do your own, of course, your own dialogue, your own editing, your own music.
Exactly.
Anything you want is right there.
Yes. Now,
In
this case, I got lucky with my Kickstarter campaign. A guy named Rich Douglas contacted me through that, and he does music for video games and independent films, and contacted me and said, I can get you a good deal on scoring the movie for you. And that was a thrill for me because I have no musical ability whatsoever. I had literally bought a melodica that I was going to try to make noises during it, but trust me, it's much better being scored by an actual composer. Yeah, and he did a wonderful parody of the fight music from Down on the Planet that really works well.
Now, where is Stalled Trek available?
Right now, if you go to paunk.com, paunk.com, there'll be a link to the store, and hopefully soon the web series will be up. I'm hoping to have the first episode up by the end of August, and then the plus in is that 5 minutes of each episode is already finished. I just have to do the little wraparounds on the front and back, so. That's the hope, is that I can have that up and running, and hopefully reach a lot of people with it.
Looking forward to it.
Great.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on.
Glad to be here.
I want to thank you folks again. Thanks. Bye.